this for 24 and a half years, and anytime I can sort of christen something, even if it involves Cleveland in a championship, Lord knows Pittsburgh's had theirs, Boston, New York, Washington, D.C. hadn't had one, but that's another story altogether. We'll talk about the Caps. But Cleveland has a talk about it than someone that has been long-suffering there. I have many long-suffering Cleveland friends. I'm checking in with all of them just to make sure that they're alive and they actually witnessed this. Michael Regai was courtside down in Ridgefield. He was in, he was out, up and down. LeBron's in, LeBron's not in. And finally, a championship. Michael Regai, welcome on. Congratulations. So the victor goes the spoils. I mean, I know you claim Cleveland as your own and you're a Detroit guy, but just give me a little play for you, for your family, for everybody around this, because you've been associated with Cleveland sports as long as I've been associated with Baltimore sports, man.
Yeah, Nestor, thanks for the reach out, and great to be with you as always. And sure, a lot of the things that you said encapsulated here. Nestor, it's been 52, 3 professional sports. So, I mean, times the 52 times 3 seasons each year, and now you're up into the 150 opportunities without any success. So, and very few even looks at getting to the finals or the World Series, and as you know, never a Super Bowl. AFC championships that the Denver Broncos destroyed. So, you know, this group here, so much spirit and passion and heart. And Nestor, they've been tagged, as you know, as the lovable losers, the mistake by the lake, those that can never win, that are always going to suffer. And it's been, in some ways, you could say, Nestor, in some cruel ways.
This is true.
It's true. Elway's 99-yard drive, man, to ultimately tie and then beat the Browns in overtime. Michael Jordan's shot over Craig Elo. Ernest Biner. Oh, I love Ernest Biner. But Nestor dropping the football inside the 5-yard line as he's to give the Browns the lead. And then, as we know, Art Modell taking the Browns to Baltimore in 1995. So, I mean, you know, of it, and the whole country telling you, yeah, we feel so bad for you guys, and, you know, maybe someday you'll win one. Nestor, generations, man. We're talking about yesterday, and how about on Father's Day?
Oh, no doubt about a hug, right?
Yeah, so many generations, granddads and their sons who are now dads, and their youngsters that finally, and I think most kids, I'm going to say most kids by the time they get to junior high or surely high school here in Cleveland, they've studied it. They've seen it all of it. The Indians, Jose Mesa in 97, Nestor, 1 out away.
Well, I don't feel sorry for that one, by the way. That came at our expense, right, guy? I'm not having that on the program here. Remember where you are here now.
I was an Oriole then, man. I was calling the Orioles in 97. So I hear you. Again, you know, the compilation of all this and just being told you'll never win, Nestor. That's why I'm so happy for everyone here, and again, the spirit that they've shown, and now they finally get their opportunity. I don't know if all of this erases the shot, the drive, the fumble, and
it does. I mean, it does. Listen, when we won in 01, it erased the Mayflowers for me and a lot. Not erased it, but really minimalizes it and says this is where we are right. We were on. So give me your journey. When did you come to Cleveland, Michael Regai?
Yeah, I came to Cleveland in 1983, Nestor. So now I was here covering the Red Right 88, the infamous Brian Sipe throw into the end zone in 1980. I was working at Toledo as a sports anchor. I started my career in TV news, you know, as a sports anchor, and I did that for the first 11 years. But in 83, I came here to Cleveland to be the weekend sports anchor at the ABC affiliate, and that's where Paul McDonald was quarterback in the Browns, Nestor. The Cavaliers were, you know, basically a complete joke. And the Cleveland Indians, joke, going 60 and 102 every year. So that's the early to mid 80s is when I was here.
Did you ever have a beer with Joe Charbonneau? I need to know that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
See,
Joe's
I've always wanted to have a beer
guy.
with Joe Charbonneau, and I haven't done that. I need to.
Well, we'll get you here. When you get here next time, maybe I'll get that set up for you because you as a of Joe, he says, it's funny you bring him up. To me, he's the epitome of Cleveland sports. He's the American League Rookie of the Year, has a fabulous year, and then Nestor, I don't think in his next 5 years combined, he put up the kind of numbers or made the type of impact that he did.
I can't believe I just threw his name out. I to a bar looking for him like in 1995 when I drove out to Cleveland because he's 61 years old now. God, we're all getting old, bro. I mean, what has happened to us here? But I mean, you finally won, right? So 83 till now.
83, and of course, 83. I started calling the Cavaliers in 90. I did 16 years with them, and as you know, a great honor and a privilege. 8 years concurrently with that, calling the Birds in Baltimore during the baseball season. So, I mean, I've been blessed, as you know, having a family. It was a very tough decision. Family like that, I decided to, stay here. And I just feel terrific for the people, the long-suffering fans who've had to endure all this, Nestor. They deserve it, and now they're champions. And you know what? So I'm calling everybody in town, hey, champ, how you feeling? Because they are champions, as we know how sports intrinsically ties everything in life together.
Look, I knew you back in the 90s, and I was around for the Orioles in 83, and, I got into the media in 84, and we won in 2001, so, it took 17 years of me doing this professionally and, during my life, and after the Ravens won in 01, there really is something that sort of jumps the shark, even the second time around, even if the Orioles were to win 5 in a row, or the Terps were to win more, whatever that is, there's nothing really that compares to the first time because, and I know many people in Cleveland can identify with this, you really don't even know how to act. Like, where were you on Sunday night? Give me the whole load. Were you in the Bay Area? Did you go out for the game or are you back local?
No, because I stayed back. I went to all 3 games here, of course, and, I'm doing both television and radio, and between the two of them, pre- and post-game, Nestor, I've when the team's been on the road, I've stayed back here.
Well, the story's in Cleveland. Let's be honest. There's no one. There was nothing to see in the Bay Area you couldn't see on TV, and LeBron's tears and grabbing the trophy and all that. But the party was in Cleveland. You kind of wanted to be in Cleveland, right?
No, no doubt. As it is in our business, we're doing the shows, both TV and radio, in sports bars in the downtown sector, and Fox Sports Ohio built a set right in the plaza between the Progressive Field, the Indians venue, and Quicken Loans Arena where the Cavaliers play. And there was an estimated couple 100,000 people downtown last night, Nestor, and Cleveland PD at about halftime, they closed off all the entrances. You could not get in. They were worried about safety. You could get out of downtown if you wanted, but they were letting no one in. And after the game, I'm doing the show, but I had a chance to stick my head outside a little bit. And, Nestor, the flatbed trucks were out with Cavalier fans hanging all over. Of course, the buildings, some of the condos in the apartment buildings, they had big parties. You got people hanging out of windows. But again, for me, and Nestor, the tears, as I'm sure you can relate to.
I can.
Probably, as you said, from the Ravens Super Bowl win, 2000 season, 2001 Super Bowl, that, tears of joy and tears of frustration and just a tremendous bonding that went on here from literally thousands and thousands of people. The team landed back home today. You'll like this. They stopped in Vegas on the way home.
I saw the videos of that. I saw that was a very wet stop from what I saw. There was a lot of jubilation there from what I saw from J.R. Smith.
Yeah, there was, exactly. JR knows how to party. Let's say it like it needs to be said. So again, the parade is on Wednesday, but Nestor, There is a big, almost here, a collective first, that exhale, like they're going to win. They're going to win the championship. Even I'm on a TV set, but of course all the crew and people there all felt the same way, and it's just great for this region and this area. Long overdue, and damn it, they deserve it. They needed it.
As a Baltimore guy, I wasn't sure how I would feel about this, and we've been through this. I'm not a LeBron guy. I don't like what he did. The fact that he came back, it is one of the most unlikely stories ever. I mean, you were there the morning after he disappeared. All the business was gone. All the victories were gone. Dan Gilbert had to, defend his honor, the Benedict Arnold stuff, all of that. To think that this was even possible is kind of otherworldly, right? I don't know, as an Oriole guy, if Messina would have picked on up out of here and Ripken would have picked on up out of here and then somehow come back and won a championship, we still don't have anything to compare that to, although, maybe Angelos will actually win one after all the strife that he's caused me, my family, our community, businesses here, baseball fans. Maybe that will happen. I mean, for the Blackhawks, there was redemption, but there's never been redemption quite like LeBron James's size of redemption and the size of the pronouncement that he was taking his talents and the decision and all that to Miami. But, this is a hell of a story. It really, really is.
Completely surreal. And that is the only way to describe it. I mean, again, look, Nestor, he was vilified here.
And rightfully so. And rightfully so.
I get it. I didn't, and I'll tell you why. Look, I didn't like the way he left, but again, you got to remember, I've known the young man since he's been 14 years old. First met him when he was a freshman in high school, and then for his first 4 years in the NBA, I'm calling the games on TV, and I'm there with him every day. He impressed me with his knowledge and respect of the history of the game. He always, if you ask him about Oscar Robertson and Bill Russell and Wilt Chamberlain, he knew exactly what they meant as forerunners to him in the NBA. Even Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Julius Erving, Bird, you name it. You go right down the list, and this kid, and Nestor, try that many youngsters that came into the NBA during the 90s, they could have cared less about those guys I just mentioned. They didn't give a damn about them and just some old guys who used to play back in the 60s. LeBron is not like that. He had great respect in history. So to me, that opened my, hey, this 18-year-old kid, he gets it.
You like LeBron James. You right now, you've interviewed him 1,000 times. You like him. Well, give me some redeeming
like
qualities
James.
for him as a human being, not the public side of it, but some redeeming. Why would I like LeBron James?
I think if you got to know him, you would come to respect. I know how you are with your family, your wife, and everything that means to you. This great sense of knowing that, yeah, you know what? No, not the Charles Barkley, I'm not a role model. Yeah, LeBron, you do have a great responsibility. Privileged kids in Akron, Ohio, and Cleveland, Ohio. It's your home, it's your roots, it's how you grew up. And you know what? He's shown that he does have a sense of he needs to be a difference maker there. And he started that right away with his foundations and what have you. Now, I know you're going to say, yeah, Ragab, but 7 years later, he leaves town. Yeah, he did. Ultimately, he compared it by saying, he did it at 25 years old, Nestor. And again, if you want to call this rhetoric, but he finally said, you know what, for me, I never had the college experience. I almost needed to, go away from home like 18-year-olds would do, to go away to college and learn to grow up. Whether you want to buy that or not, again, and I'm not saying that some of that might not have been, deep thinkers sitting around and saying, okay, fine. But I'm telling you, he's impressed me with understanding he needs to be the type of man that's accountable, responsible, and is a difference maker, Nestor, for his opportunity that he has with young kids, if nothing. else, Nestor, in this day and age, and this does mean something to me. Not once has LeBron James ever been in trouble with the law. There's been no missteps about anything, and as good as you can be, it's been. You just mentioned two guys, and I got a great chance to know and respect and admire Cal Ripken, Mike Messina. You mentioned them. My time with the Orioles, I got to tell you, those were my two favorite Orioles. Them, Robbie Alomar, and probably Rafi Palmeiro. Guys all maybe went different paths, but he has. That's why I think you like him, because of all the reasons I just laid out that really have nothing to do with basketball. He knows he's a global figure, Nestor, and he also knows that. Had the Cavaliers lost this series in 5, you're talking about his legacy's tarnished, and LeBron James, again, is not the winner that we think he is. So, you play with, I think, a lot of pressure and that heavy burden, and he's always been able to rise above that. So I have nothing but great respect and admiration for the young man.
The great Michael Regai joining us here. You can follow him out on Twitter at Michael Regai, longtime voice of the Orioles and longtime Detroiter who planted down in Cleveland and years and text and all that. You're in the middle of this, sort of on TV during all of this. But meanwhile, everyone in your life has to be just beside themselves and really, as I said, really not knowing how to act, right?
Yeah, well, no question about it, Nestor. I have a 13-year-old son, and of course he's born and raised here. I was still doing the Orioles, but his mom, a native Clevelander, and she played college sports, was a volleyball, softball player here at a Division III school in Cleveland. So, a great sense of all of the things that we've talked about. And so my son at 13 years of age, I told him, I said, listen, you need, at 7 and 8, when he starts like he wants to play sports and he wants to achieve to the best of his ability. And I said, we're going to sit down and I'm going to give you the history and litany of Cleveland sports. And, as he gets like, wow, Dad, this was a lot of losing.
Yeah, we sure do lose a lot, Dad.
Yeah.
Are we always going to lose like that? Are we ever going to win?
Exactly.
What does a kid know? He's 13. They've got the rest of his life now. He'll always know what that feels like in a way that none of the neighbors did, right?
Thrilled and ecstatic last night. So he's in 7th grade right now. He's just be going into 8th. An athlete, plays all 3 of the team sports, but I'm, he's a straight A student. I'm proud as I can be of him, but he's got a great sense of this is where he grew up. And so, of course, Nestor, he grew up here. Baltimore, me growing up in Detroit. He wants to know about the teams in his city and their history and what's going on. And, so many times he's looked at me and said, Dad, some of this stuff, as I said, it's kind of like almost cruel the way they've lost opportunity to advance to a championship or win a championship. So when that comes out of the mouth of an 11 or 12-year-old, it makes you smile. And at least I know that he understands the plight of sports fans here in this city that he's grown up in and why this is now so very.
He'll never be the same, Cleveland will never be the same, like literally,
No.
right? It has been the brunt of all of this since back during the drive. So for 30 years, kind of like the Red Sox aren't the same anymore, and their fans
Right.
after the first one, let alone 3. Michael Regai joined us here. All right, last thing for you on Game 7, because I know you've called thousands of hours of Cavalier basketball, broken down thousands more. The last and nobody can score. It really would have been another cruel and unusual punishment, right? It did come down to the end in the way that Cleveland always gets buried there somehow, some way. They lose by a point, and it didn't happen that way. And scoring the points and the Michael Jordan shot and all those things. LeBron did it, and the statue in Cleveland will be erected not around making a shot, but by blocking a shot. I find that to be fascinating.
Tremendous. No, it was tremendous. He has become so phenomenally strong at face down rejections. Nestor, and I mean, and that ball was so close to being on the glass when Iguodala put it up on the right side of the rim and on the glass. And, as you know, Ed, it got on the glass, even for just a glimmer. Then it's a goaltend. LeBron got it just before it hit the glass. Up on the square, Nestor, he was a good 1.5 or 2 feet above the rim. And so now I think, again, this is going to add, okay, LeBron James, the offensive guy. That's the high riser that throws down crushing dunks. And his biggest play in Game 7 came with a chase-down rejection block that would have given the Warriors the lead. So, I mean, again, the guy has tremendous sense for the dramatic, and his emotions poured out last night. And, he did. Nestor, I don't think I'm coming home, and nothing's... But I'm going to put all my blood, sweat, tears, and toils into bringing a championship to my hometown. And I'll be damned, Nestor Aparicio, he delivered.
Well, and it only took 2 years. The leash wasn't all that long. I don't know what happens if they go out in 5. That kind of disappointment, you come back. And certainly for Kyrie Irving, I mean...
The national folks would have been skewering him and saying his legacy was tarnished, and that, he's no Jordan. He's not even a Bryant or a Duncan, let alone a Magic or a Bird or a Russell or an Isaiah Thomas. All of that would have been said. Guarantee you.
One more thing for him being a kid, and as much as you talked about never running afoul of the law, any of those type of things, more than that, when a kid is 14 or 15 and is anointed the next something by ESPN, by Sports Illustrated, by some television guy on TV, 15 years ago, which would have been you, whatever it is that makes these guys the next great thing, very, very few of them ever can be that. And then there are the Steph Curry's that sort of sneak in the back door, always a little small school. Scottie Pippen was one of those guys that was underappreciated all that time. His varsity team as a kid. That was never LeBron's fate, right? And,
no.
And it's always hard, right? I mean, Peyton Manning would be one of the other guys. Talk about Tom Brady. Tom Brady was picked over 6th-round pick. It's a different kind of pressure when you're the Beatles at Justin Bieber's age. 30s.
So true. And listen, the weight of the entire, forget this area. I truly believe, because of his stature and status now, and where it started and where it began, and your point a moment ago was spot on. This has been going. She was put on the cover of Sports Illustrated as a high school sophomore, the next Jordan, the next Dr. J, the next Magic and Bird. I mean, how many of us, Nestor, at 16 years old would have been prepared to handle that? I wouldn't. I could tell you that as a high school sophomore playing sports in high school, and to have all this, and it's unfair. And I don't like to do it. I won't do it. It's, to me, listen, let these kids experience and mature and go through some losing and some pratfalls and some failures athletically. But now look, hey, I get it. I'm an old guy now, and that's not what we do. No, we give everybody, all we do is advocate young people that they're going to be, and, hero worship them. And Nestor, I'm not for it, but again, that I realize that that's the way it's going to be, and this kid has had to deal with that since he's been 14 years old. But as I said, on the cover of Sports Illustrated and calling him the next Jordan at 16 years of age, and you know what? Maybe he's not the... Michael won 6 championships, and to me, Michael is the greatest player that's ever laced up the shoes on a basketball court. But I tell you what, you got top 10, don't you fit? LeBron James is in the top 10 of the conversation. I don't know where you want to put him, but he's there. When his career's over, then we'll do and see where it all comes out. But till then, That's enough. He doesn't worry about that.
Michael,
He doesn't worry about that stuff.
I've always wanted to see something I've never seen, so I will be tuning in for the parade on Wednesday. I'm very familiar with the downtown Cleveland area.
Sure.
You have any sort of prediction on how many people are going to post up for this? I mean, my boy Bernard McKinney, executive producer of my Nasty Nationwide show, lives in Portland, Oregon. He's on a plane today. I mean, it feels to me like if you're from Cleveland and you live elsewhere, this is kind of like one of those things you're going to have to get on a plane and get back, because if you miss this, you damn well feel like there might not be another one. Or as I tweeted out snarkily, as is known to me in Baltimore, we knew the Browns were never going to do it.
Well, yeah. Okay. I got sure. They're anticipating about 200 to a quarter of a million.
All right. Well, I'll be counting every head.
Here.
All right. And
it's going to be something that'll be one for the ages. You're right. I've heard today so many ex-Cavaliers are, as you said, going to get on planes and come back in. And I've heard from a lot of people that grew up here, of course, that now are their professions took them elsewhere around the country or around the globe, or are going to try to get back. And you would expect that, and I think that's cool, whether it's Baltimore, whether it's Cleveland, Cincinnati, Detroit, Chicago, Milwaukee. I got to get back home to where I grew up to experience this. What's better than that, right?
Well, I mean, for the Jay Lenos and the Arsenio Halls and the Drew Careys and all of the sort of Cleveland celebs, this is a big deal. So, Michael, you're my Cleveland celeb. Michael Regai, veteran NBA, MLB. You know him from Home Team Sports and from Oriole Baseball. To the victor goes the spoils. Party up out there, man. Have a good time with your kid and your family. Enjoy yourself out there. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for all my friends in Cleveland. I really am.
I know you are, and I know it's genuine from the moment you text me this morning. And as I said, from everybody, all those friends of yours, which are numerous, because we talk about you a lot here. And believe me, people say that know you, whether it's the media, say, you know what, Nestor's always given Cleveland a fair shake. Of course, even though he wants the Ravens to destruct the Browns every opportunity.
Hey, once I steal your football team, I'm always ready to give you, a fair shake.
I know, I hear you, man. But from on behalf of everybody, thanks for thinking of everybody here and reaching out, and we all look forward to seeing you soon, man.
Yeah, I got a picture Art Modell over my left shoulder in the video cam that I just pointed out, so everyone knows, Art's always with me, and I'm always with you, Regai. Hey, man, go enjoy the parade, and I will see you later.
Thanks a lot, Nestor.
There he goes, Michael Regai. You can follow him out on Twitter, and, of course, his famous home run call of "see you later," and big times in Cleveland, man. I'm going to be out there all week. I want to talk to all my friends from Cleveland. I want to hear how they experienced it. I want to feel their joy. If you're watching on the YouTube video cam or out on Facebook Live, you'll see I'm smiling a lot. I really am happy. I got so many friends of all walks of life in Cleveland. I've spent so much time there. I used to chase girls there, had friends there, had college buddies there, certainly professional buddies there, and people I've worked with from there. So congrats to the Cleveland Cavaliers. I hope they stay drunk right on through, training camp, because Lord knows the Browns aren't going to help them out. You can find me out in the Bio Toyota Audio Vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device. Download the TuneIn Radio app. We come in crystal clear from anywhere you are. And our WNST Rock Week is coming up on July 11th. Lots and lots of rock stars, lots of Billy Joel and John Bon Jovi and Daryl Hall, and some deceased rockers like Clarence Clemens and Dan Fogelberg and Brad Delp from Boston, amongst many, many others. I've really enjoyed editing it. I'm sure you'll enjoy listening to it. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Taos in Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports. WNST.net, championship, and the parade in Cleveland, Ohio. I've been on the radio 25 years. I never thought I would say that before, but I got a guy here who's not only focused on Game 7 and what happened there, but certainly we are spending this week, if we're not talking about the Orioles and the parade in Cleveland, Ohio. I've been on the radio 25 years. I never thought I would say that before, but I got a guy here who's not only focused on Game 7 and what happened there, but certainly the NBA